the trip seen round the world. Everybody, I hate this stuff because I'm sure you've spent time with elderly relatives who are very dear to us when they reach that stage. And I mean this, I'm not trying to be sanctimonious about it. Like I remember what it's like with my grandfather when I was covering his knees with a blanket and, he would get a little forgetful and, and we're all hopefully going to go there ourselves, meaning last that long, ourselves one day and have family to tend to us. But I'm not trying to be the commander-in-chief. You're not trying to be the commander-in-chief into our 80s. This is reckless, and there's something sick about it. There's something wrong. If you didn't see it, and we'll put a link up on clayandbuck.com so everybody can just see in case you haven't seen, because we're living on the internet, so we're always seeing all the social media clips. Biden Clay, he wipes out. Actually, for a second, there's a concern that maybe he's old enough where that kind of a wipeout could really hurt. And then the media immediately jumps into, it's no big deal. It's not. Here's MSNBC's one of their analysts on this. Play 13.
And presidents do fall. They do. They trip and fall. President Obama did a few times. But no president has ever been 81 years old and run for re-election while they did so. His age is an issue here. The Republicans immediately jumped on this. They blasted all over social media. The White House was very quick to be defensive. They pride themselves, this White House, on being above the fray. We don't engage on Twitter. Yesterday, they were all over Twitter because they know, polls show that Americans do have concerns about the president's age. This is going to be a storyline they have to deal with.
He's got dementia and he's too old, Clay. What else? Like, does anyone want to debate this issue at this point?
People trip. People fall. It isn't a big deal if it occasionally happens. Buck, he is both physically and mentally not able to do this job. And I'll just bring up a couple of examples recently. At the G7, a lot of you may have seen this clip. He's going downstairs and he starts to lose his balance. He catches himself, but he came very close to doing what he did on the stage at the Air Force Academy yesterday afternoon. That is falling full on bad. And if you watch the video, and I would encourage you to watch the video. Some people don't want to do it because they feel bad, but this is important, I think, because you know who's watching this video? China. You know who's watching this video? Russia. The president's physical and mental acuity when he is the commander-in-chief is of the utmost importance. And this is why actual presidential campaigns are so grueling, right? We want to put through the most difficult imaginable process. Our leaders heap stress on their shoulders. Buck, it's not only that he fell, it's that when he fell, if you watch the clip, which is why I encourage you to watch it, he tries to get back up himself, and he wasn't able. They had to come and help him stand. Now, again, there are 80-year-olds out there. I would bet that a lot of the 80-year-olds, some of them are listening to us right now, when you are that age, there is a wide variety of physical and mental attributes. Biden is not, I don't believe, a particularly well-moving 80-year-old. Like, if you look at him in the stiffness in his joints, this is not a guy who walks with ease. And he keeps doing that thing where he tries to pretend like he's going to run, like, oh, I'm a great athlete. Look at how physical. Buck, he said, if you question me, and this is why it's important, 66% of Americans, basically, 2 out of 3, said he's not up to the job of president. This is not helping that. And he said in response to the question, hey, what would you say to people who don't think you're up to this job? Watch me. Okay, you challenge us. Watch me. You can't walk. This is reckless. He shouldn't be the nominee. He shouldn't be president now. He certainly shouldn't be the nominee.
It will be quite a call if our friend Bill O'Reilly, who was on with us yesterday, sticking to it, saying that he still believes. Now, I'm still taking the other side of that bet because I think that it's just Democrat apparatus. They don't care. I think some of them actually get some weird joy out of, we can even make this guy president, which is kind of where things are. But I'm not. I wouldn't bet the farm, so to speak, that it's definitely going to be Biden. I would give like 10-1 odds. But I think the other part of it that's interesting is that, usually we think of, let's be honest, right? You go back, you look at previous vice presidents. Biden was a vice president meant to be really in an advisory role to Obama, and everyone thought the position was kind of superfluous, really, at that time. Like no one was, it was, Trump with Pence. It's an interesting one. I would have to go back and look a little more at, and Pence is going to be running. I think we probably will have Pence angling on that debate stage too. That choice, I think it didn't really matter because I think everyone knew they were voting for Trump. I think that vice president was kind of interchangeable. You go back, never before, this is my point, has there been a vice president as consequential in the role as Kamala, not because of what she's doing, but because of because as we know, she's not really doing very much at all. It's very possible she will have to take over in a second term, making her the president. You know what I mean? So it's not like a normal vice presidential pick where it's just for the ticket and who cares. No, she's in the on deck circle, and she may have to step up to the plate, which I think also unnerves a lot of people.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say about the Biden fall, Buck, is think about what he's like behind closed doors now. And this is where I come back to Dr. Jill Biden and also everybody who surrounds Biden. We are seeing him for what percentage of the day? 3% of the day? 5% of his overall waking hours in terms of you and me and everybody out there being able to see him and judge his performance. He has one of the lightest schedules of all time. They fly him to Delaware every opportunity they can, basically hide him. My point on this is, and yet he goes out and he tries to say, hey, where's the dead congresswoman? Remember, where's Jackie? We've now seen him fall going up and down the stairs at Air Force One multiple times. We saw him fall on his bike. We saw him fall on the stage in daylight, middle of the day. What is going on behind the scenes? As out of touch as we know Biden is, he can't read off the teleprompter. He says all sorts of strange things, the whispering. He's clearly not mentally and physically all there. What are they covering up? What is occurring that we're not seeing that would make many of us say, oh my goodness? Because remember, they're super prepping him. We've seen those big note cards that he has, like, you sit here, you call on this person. They have to micromanage his entire day. And to me, Buck, this is what's so sad about this. You can agree or disagree with a lot of people on policy. But the idea that the president doesn't have the wherewithal to be president. Remember how often they trotted out the 25th Amendment with Trump? When Trump slowly walked down the stairs at West Point, Biden even made fun of him because he slowly walked down the stairs. Can you imagine if Trump had a fall like this, what the reaction would have immediately been?
I think bringing up that 25th Amendment period is important as well, because to me, that was right alongside, in terms of the clear dishonesty, the kind of people that were circulating around that and saying, oh, we need to use the 25th Amendment. It's like the Hunter Biden laptop denial. It was so clear that there was no need. It's so clear that President Trump wasn't not of sound mind to be president, that to talk about it was just a giant lie meant to undo his role as president. But they'll lie about absolutely anything. And that's, I think, something that we all have to be prepared for here, including, and what you were just saying, Joe Biden's ability to keep doing what he's doing. And the fact that they say things like, oh, behind closed doors, he's sharp as a tack. Give me a break. They say that less now, though. They're kind of crossing over into that threshold of even the true believers are like, well, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, and here's the question. Are they really going to do this? Are they really going to go full John Fetterman? Because, again, as much as I think Fetterman was a disgrace that he's there, he's 53. You can at least make the argument he can have a full recovery. Biden is every single day getting worse, Buck. And the amount that he would have to be out on the campaign trail, imagine how often he's going to be falling everywhere. I think there have to be a lot of panic and alarm going off all over behind the scenes in Democrat politics over this.